Hey guys, I think I just get too hyped when the song comes on. I'll be in here like,
Listen, I was too, and I was gonna say Tay is giving all the body.
yeah,
That picture with her leg up like that.
I like yes, I love it. Absolutely, absolutely. Well, hello, ladies.
Hey, girl.
Hey. So, how's everyone doing?
It is Sunday.
It is.
Yeah.
Sunday, self-care Sunday.
Sunday.
Your rituals and things. I've been working, but I'm gonna get my self-care on after.
So before Sunday's gone.
Yeah, I'm gonna get it in. Right. It's been busy for me today, but we gotta get there because we gotta ease on into the week. What a good.
We're already in June. Hello. When did this happen?
Listen, it was just St. Patrick's Day. I promise you. Like, just had on green, okay. No, for real though. Like,
I agree. Rubbing on some sunscreen and trying to make it work. I
understand. I'm gonna go to the beach. Yeah, it's time.
I can't. But was May good to all of you guys? Because it's only June 2nd.
Mm-hmm.
So was May good to you guys?
Yeah, I'm just trying to get through.
You trying to get through?
Yeah, I'm just trying to make it day by day.
Oh my gracious, I got you. Well, shout out to Miss Communication. She is feeling under the weather, and she really did put a valiant effort to join us. But she's like, "Hey, boo, I can't do it." She said, "I cannot do it."
What does look like? So shout out to you.
Yes,
okay.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So, excuse me. So tonight, this evening, we are going to be talking about staying past an expiration. So I have agreed to put myself in the spotlight to talk about a past relationship that was heavily abusive and why I did not leave. Part of the reason why we brought this topic up is so many times we see people, it's not just women. I think we have a better forum to speak about it as a woman, but so many times we see people who stay in relationships and we're just like, yo, why didn't you just leave? I'd have left, and I must admit that, at one point in my life, I probably was one of those people like, I don't know why people don't just leave. Like, duh, just go. And life said, let me show you why you don't just go. But as just being transparent, as awful as that experience was for me, and oftentimes, I flash back like, what? It is one of the worst things that ever happened to me. It helped me discover strength I did not even know existed within me, but it also catapulted me into a lot of healing. So the ladies will be asking questions, right? And there's no holds barred. No, I'm a no limit soldier with with where we can go with this. And if nothing else, I hope, transparently speaking to our experienced families, I hope that it gives you the strength and the courage, if you're in similar situations, to set yourself free and speak up. So, yeah. Uh-oh, what happened to Royal? Where'd she go?
Oh, she didn't beat nobody up, is she?
Let me mute her for a second.
She getting her mom on. It's okay.
Someone
it never ends like it. That role is. We try to switch y'all. Oh, y'all. I'm sorry, because I'm not. Y'all try to switch off. I mean, I play the role sometimes, when they don't feel like it. But I don't want to take that because that's a whole thing. Like,
I
don't take
got
that.
you.
She had the mom right fast. That's what I said.
You was in mom mode, so I was like, oh, let me mute her real quick.
Oh, I'm sorry, y'all heard me. I'm sorry, audience. Love y'all. I'm so sorry. I was trying to dash and find my phones. Woo, okay, sorry.
But that's how it's supposed to be done, okay?
I got work to do. I got a job to do.
Listen, don't play because we're talking about expiration. So we're gonna stay right here in this moment. I was listening.
Okay.
Yes.
So I finished giving my spiel.
Well, I like that. Okay, so first of all, thank you. I do appreciate, the willingness to be transparent because these are, sensitive topics, and we talk about a lot of things to get people engaged. But I think this is one that we really have to like hone in on because you're not the only one. I'm sure there's somebody who can resonate with this conversation. So I really, really hope that I know I'll take something from it, but that the audience does as well. So my first question is going in with the understanding that, oh girl, you should have left, right? In theory is one thing, but in practice, we know it's a whole different thing. So going into it with that mindset, my first question would be, because I might have missed some of the story, what was the time span of the abuse? And I'm also counting like mental, physical, all of that. Whatever the abuse was.
How long was I in the relationship?
Well, yeah, like how many years, I guess?
More than 10. More than 10. So a little background. Met him right after high school. And it was just up and down the whole time. And I'm gonna be like so totally, I cannot, and I said this to someone other, I cannot remember a time where I was not hurting in it, but
up and down, like emotionally, or you mean on and off relationship wise?
Emotionally.
Okay.
So more than 10 years is the answer to that. Gotcha. Probably almost 20.
Oh, more so 2 decade-ish than one.
Yeah, because all my children belong to this person.
Gotcha.
And my oldest is 25. So yeah.
Interesting.
Processing, I see.
I am. Because we have so many more. Like, yeah, I have so many more questions. Okay,
yes, I told you. This is just apple juice. So
oh, no, you're fine. No, no. So parallel to my sister twin in life experiences, Pearl and I share similar experiences. Slightly different, but similar. Because her situation was dealing with a narcissist and mine was just emotionally unstable. So mental health is mental health is really real. So why I stayed is because of the fact that I have a strong conviction on being in a committed relationship, marriage. This was a marriage, second marriage, but marriage just the same, with an individual. And it didn't have anything necessarily, well, you know what, I can't even say that. Yes, being honest, it probably did have some truth as far as doing it for the child, to maintain a nuclear household. But at the end of the day, I stayed way past my expiration. Like to the extent that the marriage really should have been annulled within the first month.
I can understand that too.
And I did not.
So my stay was probably for the family. I think being real, I just wanted someone to love me, and I wanted to love them too. I was in a bad space. And when I mean bad space, like it wasn't like drinking, smoking. It wasn't any of that. It was just, I was a teenager and most of my friends were out there. And I was just like, oh, in this cycle of always trying to prove myself. And I was also raised to believe that you had to earn being loved. So I just used to think I just wasn't doing my best to get that love, and definitely experienced love bombing. Let me see. Let's see how far, because I can't cuss yet. Because if we're deep, I'd cuss about what I was gonna say. But
Yeah,
I
keep
was
talking.
I was love bombed. It was just so good, but it was so bad, if that makes sense. And
She
for those
was
of you,
eggplant-matized.
Gotcha.
So for y'all to know, love bombing is like an excessive amount of just that person loves you or appears to love you. They usually do it through sex. They do it through like they don't let you go anywhere. They make you all these promises. They promise you the moon. It's just very it's a lot. It's a lot. It feels good, right? But it's a lot. And the problem is all these actions kind of get you into this cycle of believing that this person really, really loves you. And then they kind of snatch the rug from under you. So
So when
yeah.
did you know that he didn't love you?
Oh, Father. It's not one time because it kind of was like I went in, then I came back out. I went, you know what I mean? Like I
Yeah,
appeared to flirt, and then I was like, oh wait, he's doing something else. It always seemed, let me be real, it always seemed like right at the time I'm like, this isn't it. I can't do it. I was pregnant. It just seemed like every time. I swear to you, I was like, oh, sugar ducky, I'm pregnant again. But from the beginning, I should have known because I'm gonna be honest. I can remember this very clearly. I lost my virginity, and then he disappeared. Then he came back. Then I was pregnant. It was like, oh, like I was stuck. And then the last time I was like, I can't do this. I ended up having heart failure, and if you read up on it, when you're truly in a relationship with a narcissist, it does cause you health issues, and that was one of the things. So, and yeah, I can't say it's just one time. I think I always knew I wasn't loved, but again, because of the foundation of having to prove yourself, I just was in a constant, I just need to do this more. I just need to do this more. I just need to do this more. If I do this, if the kids didn't do that. And it was always a look what you're making me do type of thing. So yeah, I know that was a long-winded answer, but
no. And the reason why I asked that is because I think for me, it was more along the lines of self-esteem. Like I didn't know. That's what I didn't know my own worth.
yes, I was definitely on the clearance rack. Absolutely.
I'm not going to say I didn't see it because I saw it because I always thought I was the bomb.com, like, period.
Well, not in that region.
But,
for me, not in that region.
Oh, okay. Well,
if it was like a job, yes. School, yes. Yes.
But
like relationship wise, no.
Because think about it. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Roy. Finish your thought. Go ahead.
No. I was just going to say, like, as a person, that's what I'm saying. As a person, I knew I was the bomb. I knew I was the it because I had all my stuff together without the support of a man, right? Even as a single mother, I did really have my it together. Okay. Right. And so in retrospect, it had to ultimately deal with me not knowing my true value in myself, not knowing my true worth. And so if I had truly taken a mirror and calculated my worth and understanding that ticket, because similar, again, we're so parallel, similar, when we started dating, everything was relatively cool. But then it won't even at some point. I remember we were at his home, and he's only 4 years older than me. Correct. 4. Yeah. He's 4 years. I had to think about it. Yeah, he's 4 years older than me. But I remember we were at his home and we started wrestling. I can't remember now. I don't know why we started wrestling, but maybe we just, you know how you start playing, you're playing around, right?
Okay.
But yeah, but the thing is this. I have two younger brothers. Okay.
I'm about to say,
But
what is it?
sorry, don't worry about it. Wrong people. That's the other family. No, but I have two younger brothers. One of my brothers, who was only a couple of years younger than me, we would always tussle. So tussling with a dude didn't mean nothing to me.
Yeah,
okay, like let's be clear. It was just like, oh, we're gonna play. Okay, well, let's play. Because yeah. But what happened in that moment was a turn on for him. Because when I say we were tussling, and he was like, oh my God, I like this. Mm-hmm. He got off. Look at Tay face. Yes, he got off on the fact that I could hold my own. Like we won't like slap boxing or nothing. Like we was just rolling, like tussling.
He could feel your strength though.
My physical strength and ability to hold my own with a man turned him on. And from that point on, that's when it was on.
Yeah, mine is a little different.
I was right.
Wow, that's not good.
Nope.
Mine was a series of events that led up to that. So there was some shame there so I've talked to y'all about this before. So I got pregnant at 20. And, that's like the big shame. So my mom put me out. So it started there because now I'm dealing with that rejection.
Yeah.
And then now I'm with this person who constantly reminded me that my family didn't want me either. Right. And just, hey, you're doing this by yourself, just really that. And so it was really hey, I'm the only one who wants you. Yeah. Don't you think you're the problem? My family's still around. Where's your family? And he would also create these things where his family is totally supporting. Like, I don't know if they knew they were supporting the abuse, but it definitely felt like that. And my children have definitely expressed that it felt like that. Because we can remember times it's like we're listening to a family member say something, and now we're leaving the family member's house, going home to deal with what they created, the abuse that they created, the comment they made, whatever. So it was very much always feeling alone, which again was something I had in my childhood too, not because anyone was abusing me, but just always had to be very hyper independent. So I think my thing was, you said you were really good in other areas, right? Other areas were tangible accomplishments. You're good at work, you get a raise, you get a title, you get a paycheck. You're good in school, you get a diploma, you get it, right? So in the relationship, I was like, I don't have the tangible thing yet. And in my mind, I'm already conditioned to think you have to work for love. So I'm like, it's something I'm not doing and I need to do more. But the weird thing is I didn't know, but I knew. Because I would definitely, like, after things would happen, I'd tell my kids, this is not the way love is supposed to be. I literally would have a conversation with them. They can still remember me saying that. But inside of me, the little girl inside, the little pearl inside of me was like, I'm going to get to the point where he actually, he sees my value. He sees everything I'm doing. And he understands, because I would get a little breadcrumb of that too. It's just such a good one. But here's the problem. I wasn't giving it to myself, and I wanted him to give it to
me. At least you were getting it. I didn't get
a little bit. Just a little bit. I don't know if it was a real bit, but
I got nothing. And that's what I'm saying. Like in regards to staying past your expiration, it had expired before it even got started.
Oh yeah, no. I held on to that.
But because of the fact that I did not acknowledge my true worth in this relationship, I stayed in it, knowing that this was not it. Like my dorm mates would tell me, my dorm mates would tell me, Tam, like, why? Are you like no?
See, I didn't have that. I was completely isolated. I moved to a new town. Nobody knew me. The only thing I had was his family, and it seemed like his family supported what was happening. And it's
Yeah.
still something that I deal with. I have to tell myself, like, okay, you know what, but
Yeah.
who wants to be alone? And that's what I kept thinking, like, why don't I
I
have a
understand.
family? Why can't I have a family? Why am I so hard to love? You know,
Mm.
and I definitely struggle with it. Like, why? You know, even, and
Mhm.
I've talked about this too, when I tried to get the courage to talk about it with family, they were like, you know, oh yeah, well, if that's happening to you, it's because you like it. Okay, so it was just almost reconfirming or reaffirming what he was trying to convince me of.
Got you.
Then his family would make a comment, and then it would remind me, this ain't your family. You by yourself. You know, and I don't think I'm scared to be alone, but in that moment, I didn't belong to anybody.
I
And
got you.
and even though it was a horrible thing, I
Mhm.
belong to that, right? I
Right.
belong to that. So yeah. Yeah. There was even cheating involved. And with the cheating, to make me feel good, it was kind of like, you know, I'm coming back to you. They think they you know, that type of thing. And I'm just like, okay, so I'm closer to him actually seeing. So it was just really isolating and very, very lonely. Like, yeah, very like, yeah, very lonely. So, but yeah, I know Tay got another question. Go ahead, Tay.
Yeah, because
Question.
her mind is like, woo,
I'm
because
like,
she's getting two different perspectives coming from two different angles. Go ahead. We with you, Tay.
Now, so what, and another thing I do want to like kind of make clear is nobody's playing the victim here, okay? Because you can't play the victim other than on a movie set. If it happened to you, it happened to you, and you
oh yeah,
deserve
I'm
to.
not a victim at all. Heck no.
But I wanted to throw myself in here and say, well, it ain't like, you know, I haven't been in a situation, now not physically, but I have been in a mental situation where I should have left a long time ago. But I didn't care about the toxicity because at the time it was serving the purpose that I needed in my life,
Yeah.
but it wasn't giving me what I needed. Does that make sense? It wasn't nurturing me in any type of way. My mind, my body, my soul. Well, maybe my body a little bit. But not my mind or my heart or my soul. And those are the most important things.
I think the physical abuse was easier than the others. I know that sounds crazy to the average.
You know what? You better answer my question without me asking it. So that's exactly what I was gonna like go into. Do you think it was like in practice, what's worse, the mental or the physical abuse? That's what I was wondering.
The physical was easier because when the pain stopped, it stopped. It was over. And so my person didn't. I mean, abuse is abuse. My person liked the choking part of things, and the choking because it silenced me. Because I'd be over here trying to be intellectual. So what exactly? And he'd be like, "Shut up!" I'm like, so he did the choking, a lot of shaking. So in the middle of the night, you know, you're sore, but I started to become really good at getting past the sore part to the okay part. You know, like I had a routine. Okay, I got to get up. I got to go to work. So I got to make sure I'm not sore because I can't be limping at work. People going to ask me questions. He never leave real scars on me. Like, you know what I mean? Real scars. Well, I have a few, but nothing like intentionally.
Yeah.
But the mental and emotional, let me paint a picture for you. Imagine you get into a disagreement or argument with your partner at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Y'all do whatever y'all do because I wasn't an arguer. He actually requested for me to be one that yells and like he's like, "Don't be nice to me. Call me a da da da. Call me a da da." You know, but yeah. So we'd start a disagreement. And the disagreement would be over like things like even now if I tell you, you can be like, what? Dishes in the sink, right? So we start at 5. We have dinner. You know, he does what he's doing. I'm doing what I'm doing. All right. I've had a long day. Got work tomorrow. I'm going to lay down. 10 o'clock. I'm going to start talking. And I'm going to talk. And I'm going to talk. And I'm going to talk. And when I don't listen, now I'm getting loud. I'm yelling. I'm screaming. I'm breaking things. I'm crocodile tearing, I guess is the best way. Right?
Not you, him is who you're speaking to.
Not me.
Go ahead. Yeah.
I can't show emotion because if I show emotion, it's actually going to make things worse. So I'm talking, whatever. So I told you the argument started at 5. He starts talking at 10. It's now 2 o'clock in the morning. He's still just going.
About the same thing or just different stuff?
I mean, we're all over the place. So now we're laying down now, because God forbid I said I want to sleep on the couch. That would turn into something else. So I'm laying next to him. I'm tired, bro. I done dozed off, woke back up. He's still like, I mean, and then he's like, you ain't this, and da da da, and this is what happened to me, and he's just going, and then, bing, 4:30, almost like clockwork. 4:30, he like, you know what? You obviously don't have much to say, and I don't want you to get up and say you couldn't go to work because of me. I'm going to sleep. 5 o'clock, my alarm goes off. So he stopped talking at 5:30. 5 o'clock, my alarm goes up, and I have to get up and go to work. That is far worse, because now, if you guys don't know about narcissists, they want you to be too tired to argue with them so they could dominate. Mm-hmm. I go to work. It's not like I come home and take a nap. I have to come home and So, and there were times we didn't even have a vehicle, so I was walking to work and then coming back, and I'm still tired. And I'm still expected to perform, and that's the best way for me to explain it. So I feel that the emotional, or let's say I came back and I was tired, and I'm like, I made this rice, but it was a little burnt because I'm tired, right? He'd be like, oh, this is the shit I'm talking about. My mama never did nothing like that, and that. And I'm just like, boom. Now I'm like, I'm insufficient. I'm not enough. And so now the cycle starts again. I am trying to prove myself all over again, because now I'm like, he just compared me to the women that, we've put up on a pedestal in his family, that you're falling short. I remember one time he called his sister. She probably didn't even know what was going on, and he was asking her about something about, like, I didn't braid my daughter's hair, I just put it, and his sister's like, yeah, because I just don't want your child to grow up with low self-esteem. Oh, Father, in the name of Jesus, that turned into a whole nother cycle. See, my sister, no, blah blah blah, and it was, and that night, even the kids, and again, the kids can remember that, even the kids didn't sleep that night, because that turned into bringing the kids into the conversation and bringing the kids. And here I am trying not to argue, to keep it. Let's not go. And here's another thing. I'm the only one working. I'm the only one paying bills. I'm over here like, please don't punch a hole in the wall. Please don't break this window. Please, you're right. So I'm just like, you're right. Your sister was right. I'm going to make our child have a little, like, whatever works. Let's just get to the point where you're tired and want to go to sleep. So, So that, to answer your question about which one was worse.
Yeah, I can see that. So the only thing that comes to mind, honestly, is the kids and their trauma or the lack thereof. And I only say that I only say that because I'm a child of trauma. I am. I have vivid memories of not them putting their hands on each other, because I don't recall that ever, but I know she used to jump on him. Listen, I ain't trying to put her out, but she a little thing. Well, that's why I say jump. It sounds funny because I say jump.
Yeah.
Anyway, I just remember, like, for instance, there was this, normal school day. We're walking to the bus, and y'all know we're in the country, so we got to walk to get to the bus stop, right?
Yes.
A little bit, just a little bit. So I remember hearing the door fall off the hinges. I don't know if it got pushed. I don't know if somebody went through it. I don't know if it just, I don't know what happened. I just remember looking back to see the damn door on the ground. And I had to go to school with that, because I'm like, well, I don't know what the hell going on. But I mean, in my mind, I don't know what's happening here. I just hope everybody's alive when I get home. Okay. But like, as a child, how do you cope with that, growing into both your non-romantic and your romantic relationships, dealing with that trauma, or say you haven't dealt with it? Because I didn't realize I hadn't dealt with it until it came out, right? So say you don't deal with it, but you proceed in life or whatever, and then it
proceed far.
Because it's going to show up some kind of way in some relationship, whether it's romantic or not. So that's my concern, and that's what I think about, because we have to heal from those things as a family, but like, there's an individual work that needs to be done as well, both for the victim and the kids of said abuse, because
So I
They
don't know if you
need
want
those
to
things.
say something, Royal, but I just want to say first before I go in because I was talking before. Most people just avoid it and they push it down.
I agree.
And it creates memory loss. It creates unidentified triggers, overstimulation, things like that. But we push it down. We just don't talk about it because you see how you said the victim? Nobody wants to be known as the victim. Nobody. And I'm gonna be honest, that word kept me in a relationship longer too. I'm like, I'm not a victim. And here I am just chilling, getting my tail beat. Like,
But you
but
don't know. It's all about your mindset, though. You didn't know. You didn't feel like one, right?
the ego made me believe I was in control when I wasn't. But Royal, did you want to say something first before I start, or?
So what I will say is that as far as my children are concerned, my children were, my son was a baby. So he has no recollection of any of this. And when his father and I, so I did leave, and I took out charges finally after many times of dropping those charges. This time I stuck with it. And so when I was gone for about 2 years, 2.5 years. But in that time, I ended up coming into another relationship, which is why I will never date a younger guy ever. That's always been a rule of mine anyway, never to date a younger dude. And I went against my decision and dated a younger dude, and he was even more psychotic than the other one, to the point of pulling a gun on me.
Oh yeah, no, we're not doing all
For
that.
for no justified reason. I mean, not that you have to have a reason, a reason to pull a gun. No. But what I'm saying is
You have to have
that,
a reason now.
right. But there was nothing that I did.
Right. It was unwarranted.
Right. It was unwarranted, and he had his own ideations of me doing something or being with somebody. So when you all were speaking to the emotional aspect of things, I've dealt with the emotional aspect, and it is a little bit, it is more crippling, the emotional part of it, because now it moves from up to me. It moves from a sense of power and control to, in that sense, like stronghold, to a fear of saying the wrong thing, doing the wrong thing. So you just truly completely shut down and you become silent, right? All right. So my children were not around that. I made sure that my children went to my mom. So I will say that I was a victim, but I played a part in that because I didn't have to deal with that dumb shit. Excuse me, I can't say we far enough in now. Yeah. I really did not. And so I did not ever want, and what I would always tell my support system is this: if I choose to stay in this messery, then I will stay in it, but I will not subject my children to it because that's unfair to them. So my children never had to deal with any of the trauma associated with any of that. And even with my ex-husband, during this 2.5 year period of time when we were not apart, your stupid sister friend, no, because it is what it is. Your stupid sister friend actively sought out where he was. Why, I don't know. Again, well, pause, I do know, because at that point I was sitting with Jehovah's Witnesses and I wanted to reunify my family, thinking that I could fix him. But that's a whole other show. But see how, but I felt like, because he was a his family was the Jehovah's Witness. He wasn't, but his family unit was. So I was like, okay, well, let me show and share with him, this is where I am in my Christian walk. Look, we can make this thing work. So I actively sought out this fool who moved back to DC, which is where he's from originally. and helped him come back. Who does that?
We all do. We
And,
guilty.
and for what?
God will fix it. Lies.
And for what? And immediately when we got back together, I give it a week. He was choking me out.
Girl.
My
Well,
point. Go
I'm
ahead.
the
Go
opposite.
ahead.
I'm the
But
opposite. My kids very much were in the center of it, and he made sure
okay.
of that.
Okay.
He would wake them up out of their sleep to include them in our arguments.
Mm-hmm.
My daughter still cannot sleep through them. Any little sound will make her get up.
Mm-hmm.
Um, my sons, probably more my middle than my youngest. So you know how I was talking about pushing things down. My youngest pushed it down, but he also was on the back end of everything, right? So obviously your oldest is the one that is with you in it for the longest, right? Okay.
Right.
My middle son, I think he overcompensates. And what I mean that he's like an excessive, avoidant, excessive, let me please. I think he's still a kid to me, but he holds on very tight to his childhood. Like, I'm just going to be free and laugh and whatever. But and I'll go back to my daughter. I feel he used to be mad at me because he used to be like, well, my father treats me like that because I look just like you. And that was still, even just saying it now, I'm like, it's not my fault. That's DNA, but he used to say that. And he always felt like he had to protect me. And so even in his relationship, he's super protect. Don't talk to this person. Don't say, my daughter, I think hers is the worst. So for those of you who don't know, you can carry trauma in your body. And so she carried trauma in her body, which stunted her growth. Like, it stopped her growing. She's not a midget or sorry, a small person.
Small person.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry. But it's literally like it stopped her growth like midway. She would have random pains, muscle aches, body aches, migraines, which they all said was her with her trauma. When she sleeps, you can't like touch her. You have to actually like very softly, Maya, like, because she was one of the first people he would wake up. I think something that she probably would remind you is it's not like he'd be like, wake up. He would start banging on stuff. Wake up. I'm that motherfucker. I'm that motherfucker. He wake up. So everybody's waking up. Everybody's waking up. Automatic. I'm already up because I'm in the argument, and I'm trying to say, why do you have to get loud? You don't have to you don't have to get loud. You don't have to get loud. Well, my oldest, like most oldest, as you and I, Royal, know,
yes,
automatically protects. So she would get up, and as soon as he would get out her way, she would kind of run to the room to the boys to make sure, like, don't go to sleep. You could go to sleep. But she's making them go to sleep. She's not going to sleep. So that's the other thing. And that, because now she's the security guard. I think the other thing is it was a show. He would, like, we'd have to gather and they'd have to watch him wilding out. Right. Mm-hmm. And then when I would defend myself, he would turn it to him being the victim. So he'd cut himself, he'd cry, he'd pretend he's having a heart attack, stuff. Yeah, narcissist, there's a difference. I once, and just to tell you why, I once carried him from one side of the house to the other side of the house so that I could call the ambulance, thinking he was, right? So now our kids are watching this. Nothing was wrong with him. He woke up. He got up off the floor after I started calling 911. So my kids do have that trauma. But I'm going to be honest, it fed into my saving. Like, oh man, I can save him. I can make this better. I can fix him. I can love him. He needs me. He ain't need shit. But yeah, so that's the difference. My kids experience all of that, which they're actively in therapy. And we are a very open family. I know a lot of people don't have that open communication with their children, I'm very, very open with them. One, because I grew up with them, and two, there is some guilt that's still there that I did this to y'all, right? I exposed you to this, so I want to be a part of that healing. They're doing great, you know. It could be far worse, you know. Like some people's kids are like on drugs, and yeah, they're not. But yeah, I'm very open with them. So
Counting the blessings, not the problems. Got it. No, but that makes sense, honestly, because when I think about the earlier we can get therapy, or we can get, some kind of help for those types of traumatic experiences, the better. Because for instance, again, throwing myself out there, it manifested for me in a non-romantic relationship, that trauma. The whole fear of abandonment thing, with in my life, I'll just say, I won't call the people out, but I had issues expressing that. But like you said, I would push it down, and it just became literally dis-ease in my body. And that's that. And I wanted to point that out, because we create those things by holding the trauma, by not expressing ourselves, by not finding out what it is that's making us, because a lot of times it's generational too. It comes from our ancestors. It's not just what we experience. It's back there, grandma and them, great grandma and them, and everybody before them. That's scientific. That's in our DNA. So I think it's very, very important to just point out the fact of just therapy. Everybody need it. Don't be afraid of it because you Black.
Well, also, we struggle, and this is all things I'm learning. I see it in some of my friends. I just don't point it out. We try to compensate by being over independent. We try to compensate by making unrealistic expectations of partners, because we know it keeps us in control, right? But we're really not in control. We're looking for someone to push past what we're controlling. Right. So we create these expectations. We justify, oh, I just want this. I just want that. Because we've already said, let me set myself up to the part where I can control, which we're not. Right. Let me close my eyes in that moment and pretend this is what I'm struggling to receive. I see that happen a lot. I see, like, for example, with my daughter at one point, she was younger though. She was dating. I'm like, dude, you're dating your dad. Like, I literally was like, this is your dad. What are you doing? And I had to learn the difference between being kind and nice. Kind has boundaries. Nice does not. Right? The nice guy finishes last. Absolutely. Because you're too busy trying to fix everybody else's stuff. You ain't fixing your own thing. So I think I too have seen it manifest in relationships, romantic and otherwise. And it's been literally choking. Like it has taken my breath away to get past some of that. Like I'll be at the what do you call that?
The cusp.
The cusp of vulnerability, and I feel like kind of like a damn remix. I'm like stuttering, right? I'm like, nah, it's not working, nah, right? But
like I'm gonna jump into some water. Got it.
I've in friendships it's a little different. Not to say I haven't experienced, but like literally, like my breath has been taken away because I'm like almost like something inside of me is like, you gonna do this again?
Here we go again.
Be nice today. Is he gonna be like? And not realizing it's there. It's just like, here you go. You're gonna cross over. You're not gonna be able to come back.
Yeah.
So yeah, I too struggle with that in relationships. In friendships, I compartmentalize friends. I kind of like, you're over here, you're over here, you're over here, but nobody, y'all don't mix because I can handle this over here and I can handle this. But if I mix it, now you have to see all of me. And all of me might send me down a road of rejection, abandonment, not accepting, stuff like that. So for years I thought, girl, you good, you strong, you put people in. No, you're in survival mode. You're just surviving so that you keep the parts of you that people like in front of those people, and the parts that may cause what you've experienced before in another sector. So yeah. That's
And one other thing that is so important to bring to this lovely dialogue is the fact that what I have been a witness to is being in an expired relationship,
honey.
and people know that it's expired.
Yes.
And when I say people, specifically in my situation, the in-laws knew
Yes.
that this
Why?
was some straight doo-doo, like hot, fiery doo-doo,
Yo, yeah, I
right?
went through
And
that too.
what they will do, and not all of them, it wasn't all of them,
Yeah.
but what they will do is see and know what's going on.
It's
And
okay.
instead of supporting and trying to, I must say, mediate, if you will, the
That's
situation,
that love.
within reason, right? Because nobody wants to get in other folks' business, okay? But when you know what you know, sometimes, case in point, as a mother, okay, as a mother, if I see that my daughter is going through some stuff, I might not say it in that person's presence, but I'm gonna be like, "Little girl, come here, baby. Let me holler at you for a second." Just
Yeah.
to put a little bug in your ear to either affirm or encourage or something, right? Where I'm going with this is there was
Yeah.
nothing, but what they did do is blame me.
Yes.
To this day, my ex-husband and I have been divorced. Jesus Christ, when we get divorced, when I do my
Not
divorce
Jesus
paper.
Christ. She had to call on the
Yeah,
Lord.
because I had to think. I
More
did
than
my
10 years.
I did my divorce, and
20
it was
years.
finalized in 1998.
Oh yeah, he ain't even
98. From
That's 25
98,
years because my daughter's born in 98.
but boom, there it is. 25 years later, this woman cannot stand me to this day.
Yeah, I don't think
And
my
and not only, I'm sorry, Pearl. Not only can she not stand me, and we haven't had any contact since I left. Okay, like no contact. So even though the divorce was final in '98, she hadn't had any physical contact with me since '96.
Mm,
Okay, to this day, she won't even have contact and communication with her own grandson, and disowns him.
yeah. See, that's
So
not good.
and it's primarily because of me. Because when she had the opportunity to meet him as a grown adult, because she hadn't seen him since he was a baby.
Gotcha.
So right, because he
Yeah,
was
okay,
born
gotcha.
right. So as a baby, she hadn't seen him until when they had their encounter, and the conversation was about me.
Wow. So I am not the same, but I am. So I don't have. I am, but I'm not.
Yeah.
When I was going through my situation, I definitely felt that my person's family supported him, encouraged him. Um, I I remember I went to at the time my mother-in-law's house, and I was just like, I'm gonna tell her. She'll understand. She'll talk to him. Well, that day she got on my. I can't remember why she got my. Oh, we were arguing, not loud, but it was bedtime. I know she's probably like, I need to go to sleep. And she came in, and what she doesn't realize is she made it worse. She made it absolutely. You getting my mother's nerves now, and made it worse. Um, so I had all of that to await me when we left because he didn't do anything in the house. I have been embarrassed in group settings. She's not my mother-in-law, but let's call her my mother-in-law, go ham on me in a room full of people. And it was like, like, you're not gonna mess this up, and these people are trying to start their life and blah. It's like a wedding, and went ham. And I'm crying, I'm embarrassed. I'm like, yo, I'm a wife trying to do what's right with my husband at the time. Where's he at? How come he's not getting this rah rah? And everyone just stood there and watched me get put on blast. And don't worry, he heard about it later, and it made it worse when we got home. Because now look at how people, you embarrassing me. People think that I'm not doing my job, but I just got put on blast. You know what I mean? Like, how embarrassing is that? I was already struggling in a bad place. Nobody knew that the morning before we came, I got roughed up by him. It didn't matter. I was just a person that they went ham on. Like, I literally remember everyone was just watching me while someone just kept, right? I'm already getting it from him, but here you go, co-signing the same way. These are still people who knew I was going through stuff, right? I just wanted someone to advocate, save me, right? That's it. I just was like, like, I'm going through. Can y'all not see that? And the answer was yes, they could see that, but nobody did. Nobody did. And how I knew they supported him, because that was always his sounding ground. They said this, they said that. And I was like, well, you lying. They didn't say it. But there was times they'd say it in front of me. I wanted his mom to not mind her business for just one moment. Right? Because later on, I found out she too had situations that she went through, maybe not the same. I just wanted her to not mind her business for a minute, to be like, son, this is not right. Or son, you saw me go through this stuff. Why are you doing this stuff to this girl? Like, if she's that bad, get the fuck out. Like, what is going on?
But that's just it. You were not that bad. You were not bad.
So it's really, and you say you don't talk to them. I talk to them because I have to understand. And it's so hard. Like, even just the heaviness right now, just thinking about it. Because I talk to them now. I'm trying to hold on because it's still a part of my children's lives. They should know the other side of their life. And they're not horrible people. I got love for them. I love them, right? But there are moments, or have been moments, where I was like, oh, so now I'm a good person. But what happened before? After I pulled myself out of drowning, that's literally how I went through that. Like, now I'm good. Now I'm great. Now I'm doing a great job. But before it was like, look what she's going through. Whole conversations, whatever. And it's just like nobody, or it feels like nobody wanted to. Let me say it like that, because I'm sure, like all stories, everybody has their own rendition. But I've also had friends that have said to me, maybe not friends, people who know, well, what did you do? I'm like, I literally stood there and took it. You want to know what I did? I stood there and I took it. And I mean that with everything. I never cheated. I wasn't flirting. Well, who had time to flirt? I'm trying not to be sore. I never cheated. I didn't flirt. I wasn't jealous. I wasn't like, who the F? He had female friends. You have your friends. Little did I know they weren't real female friends, but I did not. I was just the sap, the gullible person who was taking it, who I was enabling it. That's the word I'm looking for. Gotcha. I was enabling that. If you want to know what I did, I enabled the behavior, thinking that if I loved him a little bit more, it would get better. If I went back to the foundation of what I thought created us, it would be better. If I continued to be Captain Save him, I would finally save him and save ourselves. And also, I had already felt like I didn't have family, right? Because I told you about. So I wanted to hold on to what I thought I could create into the family that I wanted. It really was worse in my head than what the obstacles were bigger in my head than what they really were.
So I have a question for all three of us. What would you tell a person? What would you tell your best friend?
My best friend?
What would you tell? Yeah. What would you tell your best friend who is in an expired relationship? What advice would you, or what statement would you share with them?
Oh, this is easy. I already do this all the time. So I don't have a best friend in this situation. But I definitely share my story because I believe I can save someone else by being free of the shame and the guilt that I have. So usually what I do, especially people who have kids, I tell them the worst thing that could ever happen is not him put in your hands. And it happens to males too. So I'm just letting you know, I've had a conversation with males as well. It looks different, but it's the same. I say the worst thing that can ever happen is that you wake up one day and the thing that you were strong enough to survive, you're watching your child experience. because you told them it was okay, because you showed them that's what they deserved, because you didn't stop to realize you're good enough or enough to not be in that situation. And that's literally what I say every time, because that's what gave me the courage to leave. I was like, yo, if I wake up one day and I see my son doing this to someone else, or worse, it happening to my daughter, how can I be mad at the person who's doing that to them when I told them for the entirety of their life that it was okay to be beat on, abused, loved, and mistreated? I'm showing them that's what love is. That is the legacy I'm leaving on my child, that this is what they deserve. Nah, son. And that was that. I had to, I'm tapping out. I can't do, and literally that's what gave me the strength. I am enough, because you cannot sit there and go, oh, my kid is the best in the world, but you're accepting bullshit. They're an extension of you. Nah, you're enough. You are enough. Just waking up in the morning and the sun coming up, even if it don't come up, you are enough. That's it. That is what it is. You're enough. And is this what you want to leave for the next generation, the next step, right? The legacy of abuse and mistrust and hurt and brokenness, that literally tell people that all the time. You are surviving, but are they surviving?
Yes.
Yeah. So
love that. Whew, how I'm gonna go after that, but but I mean, no, that was really good, and I really feel like you showing, telling your story and then showing your way out of it, and I really feel like that's a beautiful message. But what I'd add to that is, y'all know I'm a self-love advocate. Okay,
yes,
now I'm a
self-love advocate.
I'm a pleasure pioneer, but I'm a self-love advocate, and that is real to my life, in my everyday teachings, in my everyday interactions, whether it's with a stranger or a loved one. I tell people that love is an action word.
Mm-hmm.
You can say it till you're blue in the face, but baby, do I feel it? Are you making me feel it? Are you doing anything for me to feel it?
Mm-hmm.
And it starts with you. So a lot of this trauma we're talking about, a lot of the fears and the things that we deal with, is because we don't feel good enough. We don't feel loved. We don't feel like we're worthy. So it starts with you. So that's why I push self-love so much, because if you're so full of it yourself, there's absolutely no way anybody can do anything to disrespect you, to cross a boundary that you've set, to do anything that's going to make you feel outside of your best self.
Yeah.
And that comes with, even if it's one thing a day, every small thing that you do to invest in yourself, that's action. That's love in action. So if you can't show me love in action, like I show myself love in action, I don't need you, because I need people.
Important. Show yourself.
You got to show it to yourself, because people can see that, and then they know not to play with you. They know you ain't one to be played with. You see what I'm saying? Because that standard is right here in your face. It's not, oh, I can say what I want to her. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it looks a certain way, because
it doesn't.
Narcissism is all over the place, and people, no matter what, they all walks of life have this issue. But what I'm saying is, if in yourself you have enough love, then you can walk away from all of that. That toxicity is not going to suffice. So,
I think the other thing that I've also learned in this process, and by talking to other people and helping other people, is you have a lot of people that go, oh, just crazy, like I keep attracting crazy people, or I'm attracting this kind of person. That is really because that brokenness is in you. It may look different.
You look for. That's what we look for. Exactly. When we're not healed, you look for the unhealed version of yourself.
But we don't see that, because we're like, well, this looks different. He did this and she did that. Well, what happened is you're nursing your own wound through that other person. And I can say that for everybody. Y'all can find me if you want to. It is a known fact. And if you pay attention to it, why would you keep attracting the same people? Why? Because I'm gonna let you know one thing. If you are up on top of yourself as far as loving yourself, and someone who broken won't even play themselves long enough to get past it,
because they know not to play about you.
They know that, right?
You don't play about yourself. Period.
Right? So that is something else that I had to go. Like, that was a piece of you that was broken, or that you were trying to nurse, right? You're trying to fill in in the gaps. And sometimes we go, well, the last person was 6'2" and had long braids. This person is 5. No, that's surface. This person had a job. The last person didn't have a job. Again, tangible. The
Right.
part of you that draws those people the most is the part of you that you can't see, that you're seeing in someone else. You are attracted to it. Okay. And I think that's something we don't, and then we change that up. Oh, well, I'm this and this, and no, I'm going to do this. But you have to heal that part. You can stay away from the dating thing until it's time to retire. If you don't address it, you're just going to find a 65-year-old that's broken. He's going to be walking with a cane with the same BS that he would have gave you if he was 25 and 35, and vice versa, females. I hear men all the time talking about, well, she crazy and she do this and she's only superficial. You are dealing with yourself in someone else. There's a reason why you're attracted, whether it be you got mama issues or you still haven't healed from the last situation. This is how we keep feeding our wounds. We find it in a different way, and and that wound just stays open. It does all this other stuff. And so I say that to say, why did I attract this person? Because I had rejection, abandonment, whatever issues from my foundation of my childhood. I always felt like I had to be over independent, I had to take care of myself because, we had other things going on, not an abusive thing, but it was a lot of sick people in the house. So they got the attention first. And it was always, Black Pearl is good. She could take care of herself. She's smart. She's dependent. And so I wanted to belong somewhere. And so I attracted someone who could smell that. Who can smell that. Oh, you want to belong? Come on into this toxicity. But in actuality, he wanted to belong somewhere too, and so
we all do.
Yeah, there you go. We all do. Well said, Tay. So I'm so. What's your thing, Royale?
My thing is, when you look in the mirror, or just take a stop and just take a deep breath and look at your internal self, and you can't recognize your genuine you anymore, because you have lost yourself along this expired journey, that is when you need to leave. And leave the relationship right where it is, so that way you can create your new path that's going to be potentially brighter because of the fact that you got out of your own way in order to take this uncertain journey, which is going to be a little scary, because it is. But be strong enough, be brave enough, be courageous enough to take that journey, so that way you can be able to become the person that you know yourself to be, and not allow people to deflect their issues, unresolved issues, onto you, for you to take ownership of their crap.
Absolutely.
Like that would be my advice in dealing with an expired relationship. Just cut it. And when I say cut it, I mean 2 beans in a bucket. Cut it. 2 beans in a bucket. Cut it. Right. Walk completely away, and do not, hear me, do not look back. Someone told me when I made the decision, because enough was enough, they said to me, Tam, when you take the garbage out, do you bring it back in your house?
Facts.
I said, no. They said, why are you bringing it back in your house? And that has stuck with me for 25 years, because it makes perfect sense. If somebody is no good for you, and you know that they're no good for you, and you are trying to cope and medicate yourself with all different vices, whatever that vice may be, it's time to let it go.
And penis is not a reason to go back. I'm just being real with y'all.
Lord knows it's
I'm
not.
just being real with you. There are people go back and like, oh, the sex is so great.
Ain't nothing worth you going back.
Is it? Because you probably lying about the orgasm you think you getting, but we ain't gonna talk about it.
Well, we're addressing surface level needs, the need of a moment of feeling wanted, desired, and love that go. It's like it's a drug, right? Like you're always searching for that high. It's the same. I'm just saying it because the word I didn't want to say before is the devil dick. It was it was just being around. You'd be so excited. You'd be like, yeah, but then it was like once it's done, you somewhere getting choked out for a different reason. So just
isn't that good?
So yeah. But
yeah.
This was good.
Yeah.
How do you guys feel? Great.
Yeah, this was informative. And like I said, I really hope this reached somebody and it really resonated with me. So thanks again for being transparent and being open. But I love these safe spaces for us. So yay.
I just want to say, as someone who has gone through that, it's hard. So let's be straight. It's hard. It's so much easier to hear it, but I'm on the other side, and it was so much harder in my head and so much scarier in my head than actually doing it. And getting to the other side and seeing your own worth and your own value and your own beauty surpasses belonging to the wrong person any day of the week. Any day of the week. So I'm here to tell you, you can do it. You can do it. You're doing it now just by thinking about it. You can do it, and it's worth every bit of it. Every bit of it. No one has ever died because they loved themselves and took hold of that love to free themselves. But they definitely have by staying in captivity that's abusive. So I hope I'm sending you guys some strength and power and love, and hope that you are enough. So from the experienced ladies to all of our experienced families, those who are going through, those who are watching someone else go through, and just for those who showed up to support us today, we hope you have a wonderful Sunday, and we'll see you again. Bye.